What's good, everybody? Pete here from Spawn Fly Fish, and today we are going to celebrate the life of a customer of ours who was a phenomenal and well-known fly tyer, especially in this area. So grab your stuff and let's get ready to tie Colleen's Claret. Alright, in the vise today we have the Ahrex SA220. This is the size 8 for the bead. We have a gritty tungsten bead in silver. And the size for this is a 5/32 of an inch or 3.8 millimeter. One thing we do want to do is lock that bead into place. So I've got some lead-free 0.020 weighted wire here. I'm going for 7 wraps on this guy. And then I'm going to trim that front, roll it over with my scissor just to smooth that cut edge, and I'll do the same in the back. And by all means, if you prefer twisting that wire to break it off, this is your chance to do so. I'm stuck in my ways, so to speak, so this is how I like to do my wire. There we go. So now for the thread, I've got some UniThread, and this is 6/0 in black. Just going to get that started, trim out this tag, and we're ready to rock and or roll. Alright, so a little bit about this fly. One of our favorite customers from day one when we opened the shop had the misfortune of having a stroke a week ago, and she has passed away. And so this is my fly, kind of a tribute to her and to remember all of the fun things and conversations that we would talk about when she'd come in. And one thing she was obsessed with, especially this year, was the color Claret and how many trout her and her friend Barb could catch on this color. So she was quite obsessed with this for the last few months, and so I figured, why not, let's tie one in her favorite color for today. So we've got some Marabou here from Hairline, and this is the color Wine. But by all means, if you don't happen to have this exact one, anything in that maroon or even certain burgundies look really good, and for what we're trying to accomplish, that would absolutely be great. Now see, I've got all this Marabou that I ripped off the side of that feather here, and I'm just pinching between my index finger and thumb on my tying hand. I'll try to get that where you guys can see, and then come in with a clean pinch with my left hand. And now we have roughly even tips on the end there, and that's my tail, and it's going to be roughly 1 hook length. So one thing about this fly, and Colleen, who was our customer that absolutely was just obsessed with tying flies and fishing, but she was actually a tyer of some notoriety. She has a couple flies published in a couple different books and all that good stuff. Sort of a local legend, so to speak, in the world of trout fishing. And so there's our tail. Nothing crazy, but before I tie the rest of this forward portion down, I'm going to get my scissor right where it lines up there with the end of our weighted wire. And so when I do finish wrapping these Marabou tags down, now I've got roughly an even underbody going. I'm going to accentuate that once more with the next move, which is a rib. And for the rib, I've got some ultra wire in medium in the color silver. So we're just matching that bead. And in true fashion of how Colleen liked to tie flies, this is not overly difficult. It's not overly blingy. Not a lot of flash, but there is some flash. And to her, that would have made sense, and I think the fish agree. So at this point, you see we've got the rib. So now let's put a body together. For the body, we're going simple today, and you don't see me use this a lot on camera, but here's some ice dub in Claret. And so we're going to make a pass back and then one pass forward, and that will be our body. So as far as how much I'm dubbing onto the noodle itself or onto the thread for this dub noodle, I'm going pretty slim, again, because we're doing 2 passes, but I'm not twisting this as hard as I can. One thing about dubbing, the more you twist it onto your thread, the more solid of a rope you're going to make, and that's going to bulk your fly up, which is, you know, kind of counterintuitive, but that's how it works. So for this, I want a medium grab, and so it's medium tension when I'm loading the dub on, and then I can kind of touch as I make each wrap here and sort of flatten the effect a little, and that's just what I'm going for. And then as I work my way back here, I've got this little conundrum. I don't want that wire to move as I start to begin my rib wraps, so I'm going to take one wrap of dubbing behind that wire and then progress toward the front again. I'm going to add just a touch of dub here, and then we'll seal this all up. So when you get that one wrap of dub behind, any misstep that you might have with that initial wrap of wire, it will never be discovered, but also it's covering that where the materials meet. And so a lot of times, especially when you're first starting out, that can be problematic. You can leave a bare spot, you can see exposed thread, all these different things. That's one way to eliminate a bunch of that. So there we go. I don't want all of that on there, maybe just like that. Nothing to it so far. If you really like a scruffy look, by all means get in there and brush some of this out or pick some out with your bodkin. But I like the way this looks, and we're going to put a collar on here, so no need to really make that another step. So for this rib, I'm just going to counter wrap or go the opposite direction of how I laid that body in. So I went toward you guys, if you will, to get that body in with the dubbing, and so I'll go the opposite direction for the rib, and about 5 wraps or so get you to the front, and just tie that wire off and trim out carefully. Just got a nice cute little cut right there. I don't want a lot of excess on that wire tag. Get that pushed down with my thumbnail, and we're ready for our last element. And so this is a feather. As you can see at the tip here, I've prepped it already. Got those fibers all stroked down, get that material trimmed out so you have a clean tie-in. But this is coming off of a whiting 4B hen saddle, and this is once again the color Claret. So I hope you guys understand what we're doing here. This is Colleen's Claret, and it's a fish catcher. And even if you guys didn't know Colleen or any of that, I do hope you just give her a little nod or a thought as you're tying one of these, if you do tie it. And then when you go out and catch a bunch of fish, of course, just once again, thanks, Colleen. All right, so let's get these fibers all moving back toward the hook point, and then simply 2 full wraps. So there's 1, and I'm going to keep those fibers all moving to the back. Don't let them get trapped. And then this will be our second wrap. Oh, some missing fiber right there, but that's okay. Pull up, and just a few more fibers to get out of the way, and like so. At this point, go ahead and tie off that quill. And I'm going to get 1 wrap in front of that thing because it's a pretty thin quill. And then just very carefully trim that out. A couple extra thread wraps here just for good measure, and then we'll whip finish. And before we whip finish, I want to pop out some of these fibers just so you can see the full effect of that hen saddle. There we go, a couple whip finishes, and we're ready to go. Again, the flies don't have to be crazy difficult to be successful, and this is the epitome of that. Quick to tie, quick to adjust to the colors that you need for your fishery and your water, but overall, not a lot of difficult technique by any means, and when you need to just go catch fish, it's a really good start. So I'm going to try to avoid getting a bunch of cement in those fibers and just cover those thread wraps. Use the back of that bead as a guide to help your bodkin slick around without extraneous head cement. There we go. Nothing to it. And oh, one little bare spot I see there. And there we go. There you have it. This is Colleen's Claret. Very simple and very effective trout streamer. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, by all means, please hit that like and please hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys on the water.